Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about the definition of a 2D array, pictorial representation of a 2D array to understand how the elements will be get stored onto a two-dimensional array, declaration and various methods of initialization of a 2D array along with some examples. So first, let us see the definition. The definition says that an array which is represented in the form of a rows and columns is called as a 2D array. 2D array nothing but two-dimensional array. So which will be having two dimensions, nothing but a directions. One is a horizontal direction, another one is a vertical direction. So horizontal direction we call it as a rows and a vertical representation we call it as a column. So 2D array comes under multi-dimensional array. 2D array can also be called it as a matrix. If you remember the syntax of a one-dimensional array, there it was data type array name followed with a subscript. So the subscript was containing a size of the particular array. So that particular subscript you need to remember here. So what are the points we need to remember when we are discussing with a 2D array? Every 2D array, whenever we declare, it should have how many number of subscripts? Minimum and maximum. 2 subscripts only. Must and should have 2 subscripts. Next point, both subscript size must be a positive number. So if it was a one-dimensional array, we were having only one subscript. If it is a two-dimensional array, we should have two subscripts. And whatever the subscript size we are going to mention, it should be a positive number. So just like a same, this point is similar to your one-dimensional array point itself. When you are working with a one-dimensional array, we were using only one for loop. But here for two-dimensional arrays, we are going to use two for loops. So one for loop we use it for the row wise, another for loop we use it for the column purpose. So instead of a for loop you can use any of the loops available. One index we use for the row and another index we use for the column. First index, whatever we are going to write, that represents a row and the second index represents a column. Both the index should start from 0 itself. So this is what the particular representation. See, this is a particular representation of a two-dimensional array, or we can also call it as a matrix. Check it here. This is what the first row, second row and third row. And the first column, second column and third column. This we can call it as 3 cross 3 matrix. See, here in the points you have seen that all the particular index should start from 0. That is the reason we have been started with a 0. See, this is the 0 index for the row. This is the 1 index for the particular second row, second index for the third row. Same way, even for a column also, the index should start from 0. This is the first column index, that is 0. Second column index is 1. Third column index is 2. So if I want to get this particular cell, what is the address I need to write? 0, 0. The first 0 represents a row, second 0 represents a column. That is, if I want to access the first element of a matrix, I need to write 0, 0. Suppose if I want to access the middle value, this particular cell, what I need to write? First row, first column. Then what I will be getting? I will be accessing the middle element of the particular matrix. Same way, if I want to access a second row and a second column, that means in the particular figure, it is the third row, third column. But as per index, what is the value? It is 2, 2. So this is how we are going to work with a particular accessing of a two-dimensional array. Okay, here also you can say it clear. See, the first 0, the left index specifies the row number and the right index specifies the column number. So in each and every particular index value, we have been represented with a row and a column. See, this is a pictorial representation where we consider it as an analogy. See, this is the first figure where it is a group of students who are sitting in a classroom. How the students have been got seated? They have been seated in the row as well as in the form of a column. In the second example, we have been taken an egg tray which consists of a many number of eggs. How the eggs have been got stored? Again, the eggs have been got stored in the fashion of a rows as well as in the fashion of a column. In the third example, we have been taken an example of a spreadsheet. In this spreadsheet, the values are again represented in the row as well as a column. The rows we have having a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and columns are having a number as named as A, B, C, D, E, F. In the fourth figure, there is a stamp size baby photos. So how many photos are there? Totally there are 8 photos. So how these 8 photos has been got arranged? 4 photos on the first row, remaining 4 photos in the second row. So again this is in the fashion of 2 rows, 4 columns. In all these particular figures, here in the first figure, students are considered as an elements. In the second figure, X are considered as an elements. Here in the third figure, the values are considered as an elements. In the fourth figure, baby photo is considered as an elements. Now we will see declaration of a 2D array. Allocating the specified number of rows and columns for an array is called declaration of a 2D array. So the syntax tells that first we should have a data type followed with the array name. Now it should have a 2 subscripts. First subscript we call it as a row subscript. Second subscript we call it as a column subscript. The row size indicates how many number of rows you need to create. Column size specifies how many number of columns an array should consist of. This is what the syntax of the declaration of a 2D array. Now we will see one example. Int x of 3, 4. That means I have taken an array called as a x. And what is its data type? Integer. How many subscripts I am having now? I am having 2 subscripts. Because of these 2 subscripts, I can consider that this is a 2D array. What does the first subscript represent? S. It represents rows. What does the second subscript represent? It represents columns. Next question is, how many number of rows I am going to create for an array called as an X? S. 3. Correct. And how many number of columns? 4 columns. So this is how a particular an array will be created. See here, X of 0, 0. See, this is what the whole horizontal line indicates row 1. This is a row 2, row 3. Then this is a column 1, column 2, column 3 and column 4. Look at the figure very thoroughly. You take your time and look at this particular figure because it is very much important. Whenever I want to access a particular first cell, I need to write first the array name. What is an array name? X is an array name. And I'm going to write 0, 0. So the first 0 indicates a row, second 0 indicates a column. When you are writing a row and a column number, you need to write it separately. So how we are going to read it? X of 0, 0. Next one, X of 0, 1. What does it indicate? 0 indicates row number 1 and 1 indicates column number 2. In the next part, X of 0, 2. So what does the 0 indicate? It indicates row 1. What does the 2 indicates here? 2 indicates column 3. One thing you need to remember, the index have been started from 0. That is the reason we will be having -1 value less. Next one is X of 0, 3. That is, X is the name of an array and which row I am going to refer? First row. That is a row number 1. What is its index? 0 is an index. Which column I want to refer? Fourth column I want to refer. What is its index? 3 is an index. I hope you people have understood this. Same way we have been working with the remaining rows and columns. Okay, now let us see initialization of a 2D array. Assigning the value to the rooms of an array is called initialization of an array. The syntax tells that data type, array name, row size, column size is equals to followed with a list of values. The syntax of the initialization of a 2D array is same as a 1D array only. Only the difference is that here we are going to write column values extra. That is, a column subscript will be extra. Now in the example I have taken int roll number of 3, 4. What is the name of an array? Array name is called as a roll number. What type of a data type the array is going to accept? It is going to accept integer data type. How many number of rows we are going to create? Yes, 3 rows. How many number of columns we are creating? 4 columns. So it is a matrix of 3 cross 4. And see here, these are the particular values. See, the values we have stored are 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 11, 66, 77 and 44. Now when you are working with an array, don't feel that we need to give only sequence values only. You can give it in a random order, and even the values can also be get repeated also. For that purpose, I have been taken this particular example. Now you may be having a question that how these values will be get stored onto a 2D array. See, how many rows we are creating? 3 rows we are creating. In that first row, we'll be having how many columns? 4 columns. That means 11, 22, 33, 44 will be stored where? It will be stored onto your first row. This we can see using a particular picture. See, now this is a bit clear, I feel. See, the first 4 values 11, 22, 33, 44, where it has been got stored? It has been got stored onto the row only. See, always when you are working, you need to specify or you need to consider row only. Always the arrays works in the form of rows, not with the columns. Rows are important for us more than column. The remaining value, that is a 55, 66, 77, 88, where it has been got stored? It has been stored onto the second line. The remaining last 4 values, they are 11, 66, 77, 44, where they have been got stored? They have been stored onto the third row. So this is how the values will be get stored onto an 2D array. Now we will see some of our examples practically, and we will go with the further part of the arrays chapter. Now let us see some of the examples on a 2D array. So for this particular explanation, I will be taking one array called as a int roll number. So this is the array I am going to take here. So I am going to make a 3 rows and 4 columns. So what is this particular statement is called as? This statement is called as a declaration of a 2D array. If you remember the one-dimensional video, there while explaining, I have been explained 3 methods of initialization for one-dimensional array. The same procedure even for 2-dimensional also it is available. So now we will see the first method 1. So in this method 1, I am going to initialize the values. So when I am giving in the method 1, I need to give the values in the flower brackets. So these are the values, 12 values I have been given. See, why I have been given 12 values? Because RNO is a name of an array, and what type of a data type we have been given here? It's an integer data type. How many rows we are going to create here? We are going to create 3 rows. How many number of columns? Totally 4 columns. So totally how many number of elements will be there in the matrix? 3 into 4. There are 12 elements will be get stored. That is the reason I have been given here 12 elements. So for this particular program, I need 2 variables, another 2 variables. One is a I and another one is a J. So I am going to use this I and J for as a for loop variables. I am using I and J for a for loop variables, where I will be using I for row and J for a column. So when I create int roll number, so this is how the particular and matrix will be get created. Now what I need to do? First I need to insert the value 11, then 22, 33, 44. So in this way we need to go on working. So for that purpose, I am going to write here for I is equals to 0. I am working with the row here. I is equals to 0. I less than 3. Maximum what is the value here given? That is a 3. So I am going to write I less than 3 and I plus plus. Then we need to open a floor bracket. So when you are working with a 2D array, always we need to work with the nested for loops. So in this for loop, I am going to write one more for loop. So this for loop I am going to use j is equals to 0, j is less than, what is the value here, 4. So the same 4 we need to mention here, then j plus plus. So again inside this particular for loop, see this part what I have given here, initialization is nothing but it is an input process. It is an input process. So input has been completed. Now I need to display them. So for displaying I am writing this code. For display elements from array called RNO. Is it clear? So if I want to display, what I need to write? I need to write printf double quotes. What type of values these are? These are integer values. So I need to write here %d. Then I need to write /n. Otherwise all the elements will be get displayed together itself without any space. Comma. From where I need to display? From the array. What is the array name? Roll number, RNO. So what I need to do first, if I want to access an element, I need the row value, that is nothing but I. Then we need to write j. So this is what the particular program we are going to write. Now let us execute this particular program and see what will be the output we are going to get. And later we make a small or minor changes for this. So once after compiling the program, I am going to get the output. See how I got the output: 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77 up to all 12 elements has been got displayed. But how the elements has been got displayed here? One below the other. But when you are working with an arrays, especially with the two-dimensional matrix, you need to represent or you need to display the output in the form of a matrix itself. Whether the output is in the form of a matrix? No. So what I need to do is that I will go back to the program. What I will do, instead of a /n, I will use a /t. That is nothing but a escape sequence. And after this, outside, I am going to write printf /n. Okay. Have you seen the output, previous output? How was the previous output? All the values were displayed one below the other. Now how the output should come? The output should come in the form of a matrix. Now we will see how the output will look like. See, is it not the particular values in the form of a matrix? This is 3 rows, 4 columns. See here, this is the first row, then this is the second row, and this is a third row. Each row is having 4 columns. So how did I got this particular in the form of a matrix? Nothing. Just you need to write here /t. Instead of /n, you write it as a /t. And outside this particular for loop, you need to write a /n. So now what we will do is that we are going to trace the particular values. So for this, what is going to happen? When I write this particular statement, int roll number 3 of 4, and if I give the values inside the memory, the data will be get stored in this way. So see here, this is the particular array name and it is having 3 rows, row 0, row 1 and row 2. Again it is having 4 columns. So let me push them. Okay, again we are having here a column 0, 1, 2, 3. So now whenever I give the value, that is 11 at a first place, it will be coming for the first room itself. So second value will come for the second room, third will come for the third room, fourth will be coming for the fourth room. Now the row has been got completed. Once the row has been got completed, now the system will jump for the next line. So in the next line from 55 onwards, the values will be get stored. Once the row has been got completed, again it will jump for the next line. Now what I need to do is that I want to display these values from this particular cells. First time, what is the value of I? I is equals to 0. What I am taking here, I means what? I means here it is a row. This part I am talking with a row because first I need to start with the first row and with the first column. So first row with first column. For that what I need to do, I have taken I is equals to 0. So up to where the row should go, up to 2 it should go, that is from 0, 1, 2. Once it reaches 3, it should come out. So that is the reason we have taken it as a 3. I is equals to 0 and it is I less than 3. This part I am telling here. Whether the condition is true? Yes, the condition is true. Once if the condition is true here, what is going to happen? Then it will enter into the J loop. So inside this particular for, we are having a J loop. Now what is the value of J now? J is equals to 0. What is J? J indicates a column. That means I am talking in this particular fashion. The row I have taken as a I and a column I have taken as a J. So J is also 0. So up to how many number of columns are there? 0, 1, 2, 3. That means totally 4 columns. So I am going to write 0 is less than 4. Whether this condition is also true? Yes, even this condition is also true. I loop is also been got satisfied. J has also been got satisfied. Once J has been got satisfied, what is the statement we are having now? We are having a printf. Printf percentage D. So what I need to display now? Percentage D. That is nothing but the value. From where I need to get that? From the array called as a RNO. See, this is what the RNO. Substitute the value of I and J. See, what is the value of I, J? I value is 0, J value is 0. That means RNO. So how it is looking now? RNO of 0, 0. If you look at the figure, the address 0, 0, what is the value I am going to access? I am going to access 11. What will be displayed? Value 11 will be displayed. Now, again after displaying the value, the for loop has been got ended. The J loop has been got ended. Now the loop goes back. When the loop goes back, the J value will be incremented. It will never come for the I loop. Once the J for loop got false, then only it will come for the I loop. So now J is equals to 1. 1 is less than 4. Yes. What is going to happen then? Again, I need the value which is present in the percentage D. That is the printf statement will be working. RNO of I, J. So what is the value of I value? I value will be 0 only. What is the value of J? J value will be made as a 1. Why I am making as a 1? Because I need to go for the first row, second column. First row, what is the index? 0. Second column, what is the index? 1. That is the reason at RNO of 0, 1, what is the value we have? We have a value 22. So here value 22 will be displayed. So after displaying that value, again the loop goes back. Now where it will be going back? Again it will be going for the J loop only. Now J will be getting incremented. What is the value of J? J has become 2. Whether 2 is less than 4? Yes, the condition is true. If the condition is true, then this printf statement will be executed. So previous, what were the outputs I have been got now? Here I have been got, already I have printed 11 and I have printed 22. Now for the third time I am working. Now what will be the value of I? I will be 0. What will be the value of J? J will be 2. At roll number of 0, 2. At a matrix called as a roll number and the address is 0, 2. What is the value I am having? I am having 33. So what will be displayed now? Now 33 will be displayed. That means here 33 will be displayed. Assume that this is a monitor screen. Now again the for loop goes back. Now once after going back, the J value will be incremented. So now once what is the value of the J? J value has become 3. 3 is less than 4. Yes, the condition is true. Again this printf statement will be working. So printf percentage D roll number of I, J. So now what is the value of I? I will be 0 only because still we are in the first row. Until we complete row 0, we will not go for the next row. So what will be the value of J? J value will become 3. That means I want to display now 44. If I want to display 44, what should be the address? 0, 3. Now check it. Is it not 0, 3? Yes. So what is the value in that 0, 3? We are having 44. So then 44 will be displayed. So once after displaying 44, again the J loop goes back. Now what is the value of J? J means what? It is a column. So what is the value of J? J is 4. 4 is less than 4. Condition is false. Now check in the matrix. Do I have a column called as a 4? No, I don't have a column called as a 4. That's why the condition has become false. Once the condition has become false, that means for loop will come out. Once after coming out, what I'm having? Printf /n. That means Now my cursor will enter into this particular line. It will come for the next line. Once after coming this, now again it goes back to the body of the for loop. So in the body of the for loop, once it goes back, now the I value will become 1. That means I need to work with the second row now. First row I have been completed. Now I need to go with the second row. What is the row number now? Row number is called as a 1 index. 1 is less than 3 as true. Once 1 is less than 3, it will enter into the J loop. So what is the value of J? J will again start from 0 only. See, this is the second row. What is the first column number? It is 0. If I go for the third row, again the column will be starting from 0 itself. So again what happens? 0 is less than 4 as the condition is true. Then what happens? Roll number of, what is the value of I now? I value is 1. What is the value of J? J value, check it out here. J value is 0. So made it as 0. At roll number of 1, 0, what is the value I have? I have a 55. So 55 will be get taken and it will be printed here in the next column. Is it been clear? So this process will continue until all 12 elements has been got completed. So what you need to do is that you take a piece of paper and a pencil, you manually trace all the particular number of elements along with this particular picture representation. If you don't keep this particular picture representation, you will not be able to do it very easily. Okay, now this is a second method. What is the second method? Is called as direct method. So in this direct method, directly we can insert the values into any particular room manually. So when we are working with the direct method, no need to use any loops. See, this is what the particular input operation have been done, and this is the output operation. So in the input operation, what I'm writing? Rn of 0, 0. That means when I write roll number of 0, 0 equals to 11, the 11 will be get stored. 11, 22, 33 will be get stored in that fashion. So even while displaying, I'm displaying the same concepts. So for this, once you refer video called as a one-dimensional array video, so that you will get a correct picture. Why we have been written all this particular fashion. Now shall we run this particular program? After running, we have been got the values 11, 22 and 33, because in this particular out of 12 elements, how many elements have been given as an input? I have given only 3 elements as an input. Remaining contents of a matrix will be empty because we have not been given any value. This method we call it as a direct method. So this method should be used only when you are working with the smaller values. Especially with the 2D array, second method is not preferable. Now shall we go with the method 3? Now this is the third method called as an interactive method. So for inserting the values onto an array, we are going to use a printf and a scanf statement along with the for loop. Now let me write one array int roll number. This time I make a bit a smaller matrix that I'm making as a 2 rows, 2 columns, and I need 2 variables, that is I and j. I am using I and j for the for loop. I loop will be used for the row part and a j loop will be used for the column part. Now I'm asking for the user, because it is an interactive method, enter the elements for the matrix. So I'm asking for the user what are the elements you want to enter. So I need to write a for loop now. So in this particular for loop, just I make a changes here. I'm going to write scanf %d comma ampersand roll number of I comma j. This is for the accepting a value from the keyboard. Now for the output, what I'm going to write? Printf. I have been used to the same concepts till now what I have been told. Okay. So let me make this particular statement as a comments. We will see its output. So my system is going to ask me to enter the elements for the matrix. Now I'm going to enter 11, 22. Total how many elements I need to enter? Total I need to enter 4 elements. How you are going to calculate here? 2 for rows and 2 for columns. What you need to do? You need to multiply them. 2 into 2, totally 4 elements. So 11, 22, 33 and 44. See, I have given one below the other, but the output is showing the form of a matrix only. So 11, 22, 33 and 44. So this is what the particular output we have been got. If you have any particular questions, you put it in a comment section. I will try to solve it in the next video. Thank you.